Welcome to Crybaby Bridges episode in Ohio, because our history didn't end in the last video.
Hello. How are
Yeah,
you
she's
guys?
going to be my reactor, because I'm a butthole and was like, I want to read these by myself. But she's my reactor here, so enjoy her faces, because I don't think she's heard these. But this is Rogue's Hollow, and if it'll show, I'll pull it up so you can kind of... That's what it looks like. But it says sprawled across Medina and Wayne counties, Rogue's Hollow is famous for its classic tales and legends of mill ghosts, devils, and headless horses. It's hardly surprising, then, that this ghost town also happens to have its own Crybaby Bridge. The legends can be summarized as follows. A young woman, unmarried and jilted by her lover, threw her baby over the bridge and into the cold river below. Go there on any given night, and you will hear the gargling cries of the poor baby. Another variation of the Rogue's Hollow Crybaby Bridge states that a newborn baby and his parents were killed after their car hit black ice and crashed into the icy river. While the parents were killed instantly, the baby died much later from starvation. At midnight, you can still hear the baby crying for his parents.
Aww.
And here's this. It's like during the winter time, I guess. I don't know. Note of warning. If you ever come to Ohio and want to check these out. Rogue's Hollow is only open to the public during the summer season. During off-season, it is considered private property, and several no trespassing signs are clearly posted. Please show some respect and refrain from going into this area until it is officially opened. Check out the link below for the Rogue's Hollow Historical Society for dates and times before making the trip out. But if you ever come to Ohio and want to know, go to Rogue's Hollow Historical Society website and you can check that out. This is Abbeville Road. Not far from the Witch's Ball along Abbeville Road near Medina is this Crybaby Bridge, barely noticeable from the road. Legend states that in the 1950s, a young girl, in a desperate attempt to hide her pregnancy, threw her newborn baby into the river below. It is said that if you visit the bridge at night, you will soon hear the baby's gargling cries, so kind of similar to the first one. Note, another Crybaby Bridge can be found in this area. Sorry for the interruption, guys. My parents came in. Another Crybaby Bridge can be found in this area. It is a railroad bridge located next to a church. Supposedly, babies were thrown over the bridge by a satanic cult worshipping at the church. It is said that you will hear the sounds of babies crying to warn of an approaching train. It is also said that if you park your car under the bridge, it will not restart until it is pushed away from the bridge. For obvious reasons, the church and bridge are not featured here. Do not email us for directions. We prefer not to get sued. So, yeah. And then there's Helltown, like I said before. Of course, Helltown has a Crybaby Bridge. The actual story is a little fuzzy on the details. At some point in the past, a child was supposedly thrown off the bridge and died in the Cuyahoga River below. However, the story is not nearly as important as the experiment itself. The rules of this bridge are the most complicated. Following steps must be followed exactly. Miss one and the experiment will fail. So, number 1, bring along a spare set of car keys. 2, go there at night. 3, park the car on the bridge. 4, turn off the car. 5, put your other set of car keys in your pocket. 6, get out of the car. 7, lock the doors. 8, walk away from the bridge. 9, wait a while. 10, go back to your car. Upon returning, the car will be mysteriously running, and you will find Dusty Child's footprints on the outside of your car. The bridge is located off of Riverview Road and leads into Boston Township, which I think I've been through there, which is kind of weird. The bridge that exists there is quite new. It was built in 1999, replacing a much older covered bridge that was repeatedly damaged by floods and other elements. The new bridge was constructed using the original piers and abutments, which can still be seen around the foundation. While exploring underneath the bridge, we discovered these suspicious-looking footprints that initially may have solved the mystery of Helltown's Crybaby Bridge. Only minutes after first assigning blame to the local wild turkeys and raccoons, we came upon this weird find on the wall next to the sandy paw prints. Guess there's some truth to the legend at all. So, let's see. There's some footprints. Then this weird looking face thing on the wall down there. It's weird.
What? Let me see.
I don't know. And then Newton Falls. Located in Trumbull County in Newton Falls, this historic covered bridge is the site of yet another horrific infanticide. Goodness gracious. The bridge was built in 1831. It is the second oldest covered bridge in Ohio. It is still used today as a one-lane access road to a trailer park on the other side. As the legend goes, in the late 1800s, a young mother threw her infant over the bridge and into the Mahoning River below. Apparently, she was trying to hide her pregnancy from the community. The river swept the baby under the bridge where it drowned. It is said that you can still hear the baby's cries coming from underneath the bridge. Research failed to turn up any information regarding the death of a baby at this location in the 1800s. The closest incident we found involved 2 river drownings from a car accident in the 1950s on Newton Falls Road, but not at this location. Furthermore, it may have been a little difficult for the mother to accomplish the deed from the bridge itself, as there were no openings on either side of the bridge at that time. She would have had to do this from the river banks. The walkway connected to the bridge was not built until 1929. Interestingly, the walkway was built to protect children from traffic. Before then, the bridge was heavily used by both vehicles, buggies, and pedestrians, making it especially dangerous for children to pass through. Crystal Springs, which is kind of creepy. There. This creepy looking
Your leg is warm.
iron bridge can be found just outside of Canal Fulton in the small town of Crystal Springs. It stretches over the Tuscarawas River and lies next to railroad tracks that run alongside the river. Originally, this was a small footbridge that was destroyed by a flood in 1913. Locals built a temporary swinging bridge, but that proved too dangerous for travelers. A permanent wooden bridge was then built, and the original iron grids seen below replaced the floor in the 1940s. The bridge is now part of the Crystal Springs Bridge Park and is no longer accessible by vehicles. Interestingly, the railroad tracks have their own ghostly legend. It is said that if you drive down the road, turn onto the small access road, and cross over the tracks toward the bridge, your car will stall for no reason. The legend behind this Crybaby Bridge is particularly horrible. A man lured his wife and their baby onto the bridge. He hung his wife from the bridge, took the baby down to the river below, and drowned the child. He then hung himself from the bridge's girders. A view from the top of the bridge looking down to the muddy Tuscarawas River. A view from below the bridge where the father supposedly killed his baby and then hung himself. Okay, so this...
They're all together. That's sad, but they're all together.
That's the top view. And then this is below where he apparently hung the woman. So I don't understand. Then Clinton. The dust orbs that pepper the photos taken at this site scream ghosties. Okay, maybe not, but they seem appropriately symbolic of the notoriety of this Crybaby Bridge. Even though this bridge is located on Cleveland Massillon Road, it is out in the sticks, Clinton, and was particularly difficult to verify prior to making the trip. After all, there were many bridges in the area, and the directions volunteered by our helpful readers were somewhat vague. However, once we arrived at Norton and then Barberton and checked around, the kind Local folks proudly led us to this historic landmark. As we arrived and pulled into the parking lot of the abandoned building next to the bridge, it was dusk and bats were flying around. We were not afraid. In fact, that was a positive sign. The swarms of mosquitoes, however, were not. West Nile virus is not an acceptable job hazard, so we kept our exploration to a minimum. The main legend of this Crybaby Bridge seems pretty unbelievable for obvious reasons. Supposedly, during the Civil War, slaves threw their children from this bridge to save them from capture by Southern rebels and or bounty hunters sent by Southern slave owners. To this day, you can still hear the baby's gargling cries. In the other legend, a young woman stayed at a house nearby to hide her pregnancy from her fiancé. After giving birth, she threw her newborn baby from the bridge into the black waters where it drowned. It is said if you come to this bridge at midnight, you will see the ghost of the mother repeating the murder of her child. Egypt Road, hidden in the surrounding woods off of Egypt Road. Goodness gracious. Township Highway 766 in Salem stands an old iron bridge that is the site of various tales of baby deaths, suicide, satanic activity, and just plain weirdness. On October 12, 2003, Groovy from Ghost Roads of Ohio and I made the road trip out to Egypt Road and did a little investigating. The bridge itself is not easy to find. We scoured the place in July 2003 and couldn't find it. It is located off of Egypt Road on an unnamed closed road beyond a rusty barrier pictured above. The barrier is not clearly visible from Egypt Road, and chances are that you'll pass it before you see it. To access the bridge, one must park at the entrance and walk the old road into the woods. Sound familiar? Judging from its look, this place has been closed off for some time. Trees and vegetation have grown over much of the bridge and road, and there are no street lights. Night trips are not recommended, yet even during the day, this is a pretty creepy place. There are at least two versions of the Crybaby legend. In the first, a young couple were arguing and did not notice that their baby had wandered off. Before they could save it, the child fell off the bridge into the creek where it drowned. If you come here at night, you will hear the baby's cries. In the other version, the child wandered away from its mother and fell off the bridge. The mother jumped into the water to save her baby, but both of them drowned. When the father later came to the bridge looking for his family, he found their lifeless bodies staring face up through the water. The father, in his panic to find help, ran down the wrong end of the road into the dark woods. He was never seen again. The bridge is supposedly the site of some teenage suicides in the 1970s. Interestingly, while we were exploring the bridge, we found this graffiti bearing the name of a girl and boy in the year 1978. A piece of old rope was found, tied to the support beams dangling into the creek below. Venturing across the bridge and further down the road, the pavement turned into a muddy trail. Just beyond this section, the road seems to simply end at an opening to a field. Word has it that a strange cult was established in these woods about 20 years ago, although we cannot
some crazy stuff here.
Although we cannot say whether it was satanic, pagan, or any other type, we did find the typical satanic pentagram graffiti that most bored kids seem to spray paint in abandoned places like this. To provide some balance, someone else spray painted Bible scripture.
Bibles are good.
It is said that many dead animals were found in the woods and on the road, sacrificed by the alleged cult. To the left, we found this dead snake in the middle of the road. However, no foul play is suspected. On the right, a close-up of a tree that has managed to grow up and through the beams of the bridge. If you look closely, you can see that the trunk of the tree has molded around the iron bar. We're not sure what connection it has with the legends, but it looked freaky enough. And then here's the dead snake. And then
Let me see. Wow.
And then here's the tree that molded around the bridge.
They probably heard you say that. Now they're going to wonder what you said.
Gore Orphanage Road, Gore Orphanage, aka Swift's Hollow, has everything else a spook seeker could want, so why not a Crybaby Bridge? Connecting the ruins of the orphanage to the old Swift mansion, the bridge also seems to be a conduit for the tortured souls of children who are said to have perished in the legendary orphanage fire. Whether this is true or not is not nearly as interesting as the legend itself. There are at least two variations of this Crybaby Bridge tale, actually more like experiments. Not surprisingly, they bear some similarity with other Crybaby bridges in Ohio, such as the one located at Helltown. Both versions are described as follows. Version number 1. Park your car on the bridge, turn off the engine, and get out. The painful cries of children will be heard along the river near the bridge. You'll also hear the crackle of a fire off in the woods. The negative spiritual energy will prevent your car from starting. You must push the car off the bridge before you will be able to restart your car. Version number 2. Park your car in the center of the bridge. Leave your keys in the ignition and exit the car. Once you get off the bridge, the car will start itself. Unexplained lights and ectoplasm may materialize around you if you're lucky, and the spirits are feeling particularly playful or evil. When you return, children's handprints will be found on the car. Much like the Egypt Road Bridge, satanic rituals were rumored to be practiced on this bridge. While we regret to report that we found no evidence of blood sacrifices during our several visits to this site, some inconspicuous spray-painted graffiti might. If you squint your eyes and stretch your imagination enough, conjure vague images of weird goings-on. Mostly, though, it's just bad art. Wisner Road in Kirtland cuts through the heart of Melonhead country. Drive beyond this bridge on the dirt road, and you will soon find yourself at a dead end. Look closely and you will see a foot trail that continues beyond the dead end and into the deep, dark woods. In those woods along that trail, people say lies the ruins of the original Melonhead's homestead. But if a late-night hike is not your cup of tea, stick to the bridge. Legend says that if you park your car on this bridge at night and turn off the engine, you will soon hear the screams of small children. Are they the voices of children who drowned in the waters rushing below the bridge, or are they the screams of the poor Melonhead children who were burned alive in an orphanage fire near the bridge? We did not witness such sounds during our visit to this bridge. Of course, we were not here at night. However, we suspect the timing of one's trip to the bridge has nothing to do with sounds you may hear. This area is heavily populated with wildlife, and the sound of the water distorted by the acoustics of the steep ravine can sound, well, unnatural. And then here's a little note. There are private residences along the road and are most definitely not the former homes of the Melonheads. There is also a horse stable here, and horseback riders peacefully enjoy this road. Horses are quite skittish of cars, therefore we strongly discourage joyrides along this road. If you must travel here, drive carefully, exercise caution, and restrain and respect the people who live here. Also, several no trespassing signs are posted around this bridge. So yeah, those are the Crybaby Bridges of Ohio. And that's all the videos I have for you guys tonight. These won't be uploaded until tomorrow because one is still currently uploading. And I don't want to have my computer on all night because it won't stay on all night to upload these because it's going to take like 3 hours to get them uploaded because of how long they are. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and see you next time. Peace out.